who in the first round, guys, are you surprised? Are you very surprised that won? And who are you not so surprised that won?
Let's hear Chris. I haven't heard you say anything yet.
Hey now.
No, just hey now, indeed. No, look, obviously, it's got to be Florida. It absolutely has to be Florida, especially the fact that they were down 3-1 and they came back, and the way that they came back, and the way that they went through, the way that they eliminated the President's Trophy winners. That's something that goes without saying. I thought it was absolutely insane that Seattle took out
Oh, yeah.
the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup champs.
Ooh.
Those, I'd say, those are my two standout
Okay.
picks.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think like, I hate to say it like this. I have a feeling that everybody's going to say pretty much the same thing, but I think the biggest surprise were just how many injuries and just the lack of energy for some of the teams that we expected to come out flying. And again, that's Boston, that's Tampa Bay, and that's Colorado. Those
Mhm.
three teams, maybe not Colorado, but I when you're
Dude.
watching Boston and Tampa Bay play, they look gassed. And obviously the injury lists came out. Maybe one of you can elaborate on that a little bit more. But the list of injuries were crazy, and there's maybe a little bit of understanding why those teams were underwhelming. But seriously, Seattle and Florida, hats off to you guys, because that's a really, really big surprise just to be staring at on any hockey website or whatnot.
Yep.
I mean, like I would say exactly what you said, Chris. You know, New Jersey was a big surprise, and Florida was a big surprise for many reasons. You know, we all said our predictions at the beginning, right before the series started. We all said conference finals was going to be Rangers and Boston. We all
Mhm.
said that,
That is
and
true.
you know, and not only that, you said something about Florida, Chris. You know, being down 3-1 and beating the President's Trophy Cup, but not only that, they squeezed themselves into the playoffs. They were far from it in the
Yeah,
last,
That's true.
month of hockey. So to me, I see the Florida Panthers, and if they do go far, the LA Kings from 2000 and
Absolutely.
what year was that? Where they just came out of nowhere,
Both,
made the
both,
playoffs, and
both,
won the
both,
cup.
Was it
both. I think
2012?
both times.
2012.
It was 2012. Yeah. Yeah. That
But
And that's
2012
because
season.
Jonathan Quick was on a fucking hot streak, and I think Bobrovsky is in the same boat right now because didn't he come on the third game 3?
Yeah, he did. He had Alex
Okay.
Line playing the
The first
couple
two games.
Yeah.
And then game 3 at Bobrovsky, and that's again we keep having this debate with Zook, or I don't know who it was, but that goalies mean nothing. Guys, I think goalie is a big part of the playoffs, because even yesterday, the New Jersey goalie, I can't say his name, Schmidt.
Man,
Saying it right?
Schmid,
Wow, I'm saying it right.
yeah.
You said
Man,
it better than
Unreal, huh?
Saint-Martin.
You know, look how hot he was. You know, but both goalies were hot yesterday, because not for anything, I thought the Rangers New Jersey game yesterday was going to be going overtime at 0-0 at one point, and then Jersey just broke out. But again, hot goalies and that streak that comes and goes. But when you're in that streak, I think Florida right now has it. But again, we're still too early to talk about it. But that's my big surprise.
Yeah.
Well, two things, if you don't mind me interjecting. The one reason why I didn't mention New Jersey, look at it from a historical point of view. New Jersey tends to have the New York Rangers number every single time. I don't know why,
It's nuts.
but it's just a historical happening that New Jersey tends to beat the Rangers. The other thing that I can't say that I'm entirely surprised. I'm gonna throw this question out. Even as a hockey fan, whoever's listening, try to take a guess before this comes. This is my opinion. What would you guys say is the statistic or something that you're looking at that you would consider to be the most important going into the playoffs?
Me, it's the goalie.
No, for a statistic you're talking about, I would say the team that gets the least penalties.
Okay, it might be misleading by saying statistic. Just
Okay.
overall.
Overall thing. Okay.
Are you saying what is the recipe or the weapon you need in the playoffs to go far?
If you're analyzing a team going into the playoffs,
It's health.
what would be a clear indicator to be like, okay, regardless of their points, regardless of whether they're first or eighth in their respective conference, what would be a good indicator as to how they're going to be performing?
To me, I'm sorry, and I keep saying this, is the hot goalie, and look at the trend. let's go back to Cam Ward and Murray and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and last year with Colorado. It's that hot goalie. You can have the most talented team, healthy team, but once you have that goalie on a streak, that's your recipe. That's how I see it.
Okay, I'm gonna add a slight little bit. But this is my personal answer. I say you look at a team's not only the goalie, the whole team streak. The Florida Panthers have been fighting and clawing their way just to get into the playoffs. They've been in playoff mode and they've been performing. And the streak, I'd say, look at their record. You look at Edmonton going into the playoffs. I think they had over a 70% win percentage. Same thing for the Panthers. They have been fighting their way. They had been performing. They had been winning. But I'm not saying that other teams that got eliminated were not in that frame
Boston
of mind.
had a
But
bad last 5 games of the year, by the way.
well,
Yeah.
I just think, like I
And
said,
Florida's
it's a good
been
depiction.
insane since half of the year. They were shit at the beginning, and then
Mm.
the second half they were on a crazy tear, dude. And they clawed back up. They
But at the
surpassed
same-
Pittsburgh.
but
They
at the
surpassed.
same time too, like I would somewhat. I don't fully agree, but I don't disagree either. They were up 3-1. They did something right for the first half of the series. It's what happened along the way. I think the age factor caught up to them.
Hmm.
I think the health factor definitely caught up to them. And fuck, when I think the pressure got to
But
the Bruins.
sorry, besides Tampa Bay 2 years ago, when's the
Mhm.
last President's Cup trophy won a cup? Because
I
because
haven't
Chris,
checked.
because Chris, you come with a good point. It's starting the fight before playoffs starting. When you have a team like Boston or Tampa always finishing first, you're kind of laid back all year because you get that X.
I think Colorado
2 months before.
I'm gonna double check that, but I think Colorado was the President's Trophy winner last year.
Let me find out. But yeah,
I don't know if we could say that about the Bruins, because I always found the Bruins having, like, their brand of hockey has been always playoff style. You know what I mean? There's gameplay was always suited for playoffs within the
Yeah.
last 20 years, we could say. So I don't know.
Okay, now last year was
But maybe they're old now. Maybe that's
the
point,
last year's President Trophy winner was Florida, the Panthers.
but- okay.
Yeah, and they got
And
bounced in
they got
the
bounced.
second round.
Colorado was the
against-
year before.
Yeah.
But okay, there, and like I said, just
so hard.
their overall depiction for me, like blindly, is just okay. Or the record, have they been performing hot streak?
Yeah,
Like you said, whether it be the
trending.
goalie, whether it be the whole team, how are they trending exactly? But you guys are 110%. Zook and Sammy, you both said it. Injuries, because the Boston Bruins, they're I don't know, so-called Vezina winning trophy goalie is injured. Petrus Bergeron had a horrible injury too. Florida Panthers just scored, so fuck you, Toronto. And going back to the injuries, like Boston was dealing with a lot. You look at Tampa Bay, Victor Hedman, probably one of the most
man.
well-rounded defensemen and tough defensemen to play against in the league, was clearly not 100%.
It's a tough goddamn
yeah.
league, man.
Dude, this is why they say it's the one of the hardest trophies to win in sports.
It's insane.
The proof is in the pudding.